Okay, so I'm looking at my throttle cable linkage here, and it's all pretty loose. And I don't think I'm getting full throttle with the pedal, and B, I don't know if this kickdown cable is adjusted right. I haven't found anything specific on how or when that should come into play. But yeah, I think that bolt down there, I'm gonna try to tighten up to maybe help with some of this slop this way. But if I go ahead and press the gas pedal all the way down, that's all the way down. I can still move this further, and I don't see where there's a mechanical stop for full throttle. I don't know if it's somewhere down here that I can't quite see on the bottom side, maybe the bottom of this arm here. Is there one, first of all? Is there a mechanical stop for full throttle? I would assume so. Yes, if you guys have any pointers for dealing with this, I want to get it taken care of, because it looks like this is rattling on that fuel line a little bit, although, you know, it's only going to happen at idle. But still, I want to get this cleaned up and squared away and working properly. So if anyone else wants to take a quick video of what theirs looks like, that'd be awesome. Or if you just have some pointers or how to properly go through and adjust this. Do I take off the kickdown cable and then just focus on getting the throttle cable adjusted? And I see there's an adjustment here, and I assume there's an adjustment on the pedal side. Yeah, but it seems like a little bit of a pain. But yeah, any pointers would be appreciated. Thanks. So I've taken my kickdown off here, and I tried to tighten that nut, or that bolt, at the bottom of this pivot to try to help with some of this play, but it's not loose. It's actually tight. So I don't know if this bracket is wallowed out or what. But I'm not going to try to take it apart down in there like that without taking some more stuff out of the way. But I'm looking at to try to tell whether I'm getting full travel or not. And I see this bracket, this piece that comes to that low stop right there. Looks like it's stopping. Let's see if I can get in a good spot here. It's stopping, but this keeps moving. I think it's that spring there. I'm going to try to do it with just the pedal and see if it... See, there's the pedal extent. Boy, it's close. If I push the pedal all the way, that's the pedal all the way. I think I may be getting... I'm either real close or I am getting max throttle. Either way, this assembly here, this is a little worn, so I'm probably gonna have to put an extra nut on there, and then this nut this bolt that was going through here, you can see this is pretty worn, so I'm gonna replace this, get some nylon washers to go on both sides of this pivot point and try to tighten things up. It had a lock washer and a nut on this side, which to me doesn't make much sense, because you want this side to pivot in here, and then you want it to sit tight. You want to lock this plate in place, and then it should pivot on here. So I'm gonna put this all back together with new hardware and get this plate locked, and then, you know, just enough space in here for this to pivot cleanly. and get this all hooked up again, and then see if I can stop this from rattling down here. There's not really any markings. The paint's just kind of gone off of that. So we'll see. We'll try to get it put back together and cleaned up. Okay, so I had enough hardware here to kind of make this work. It's a whole lot better than it was. It's still kind of close to that. There, maybe I'll put some fuel tubing around there or something. This length, I didn't bother setting yet. I still want to see if I could find something to show me exactly how to set up the kickdown cable and how that gets adjusted. But I've got a new 1/4-20 bolt. There's a washer, and then a nylon washer, and then on the other side a nylon washer, then a washer, and then a lock nut. I didn't have one with enough threads to do another nut in here, but it's kind of better for geometry that there isn't another nut in there because it pushes this plate closer to this plate. So I think I'm just going to stick with it as it is. That's a nylon lock nut in there. This is a nylon lock nut out here, and there's 2 washers on this plate too. So these are sandwiched together hard. This is tightened down just so everything's snug, and I put a little bit of super lube, synthetic lubricant, on those nylon washers in there, just so everything pivots okay. And yeah, it's okay. It doesn't return as well as it did. I might try to loosen this up a little bit and see if it's this. I don't think it's this, but it could be just a little too tight right there. So I will look at that. But you know, looking at everything, I still wonder if I'm getting full travel to this to give me full throttle or not. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm pushing down with my foot on the pedal. That is the extent of the pedal, and then I can pull this just to stay focused, camera. Let's do it again. So this is all the way down. I'm pushing the pedal. That's bottomed out on the pedal. And then if I pull this a little bit more, you can see that bottom piece moves a little bit. This doesn't move all that much. This feels a little too tight now that I look at this. Although it is, you can see it's pivoting nice. I don't like the return. It looks pretty good. Yeah, tightening this up and replacing this and getting this tightened up here definitely helped everything stop moving around so much, but it's still not great. There's still a lot of side-to-side play. Okay, so I took it all apart again, and I adjusted this a little bit just to free things up, make sure everything turns nice and is free. I might even loosen it just a little more, but it does spin pretty well. My kickdown cable is pretty tough to move. Like I don't know. I've looked around to see if I could find a part number for one, and I haven't seen one. It also looks like right there you can kind of see where the cable's coming apart. I'm sure that's not helping. But yeah, I'm gonna put it all back together because we're going somewhere this weekend. But it is a little stiff. So the other thing I did is I modified this plate. I shaved this down a little bit here and this down on this side because these were very close to these fuel lines here. So once I get it back together, we'll see if I've got myself a little more clearance, because they were definitely rattling on there a bit. So I just didn't want them touching. So I'll put it back together. Okay, so I've got everything reinstalled. I've got a lot more clearance here now after trimming this down, and over here. Both of those look a lot safer. I don't think we're going to be rattling there anymore. And I've got this adjusted as best as I can because I'm still getting some resistance from this kickdown cable. And I also adjusted this maybe a full turn on the nut, not a ton, but what I wanted to see, and I do see now, is I wanted to see that I'm actuating the pedal with my foot, and I wanted to see that the arm, let's see if I can get my light in here a little better. I wanted to see that arm stop moving forward and have this actuate just a little bit further beyond it. So you can see now with just the pedal, I can get that bottom arm to stop. I mean, we're talking just barely. And then this arm here, this one, continues. So that spring allows it to keep moving. But I can move it just a little bit past. And I think that bottom piece is giving me full throttle. So that's what I was looking for. The only thing I don't like about this is my foot is off the pedal, and the return is not, like, you can see it's slowly working its way down to that low throttle position. And I could probably, even right now after my foot's been off for a few seconds, reach over and push this. Well, it didn't really move. Did it move? On it. I'll have to look at that. I'll have to look and make sure we're getting enough. I don't think this is holding it up. But there's enough resistance in this kickdown cable that could be limiting my forward travel a bit. My return to low throttle. So we'll have to look at that. See, this pulls now far enough, but the return is a little slow. Now, probably with the engine running and the vibration of everything, it'll actually return better. But I'll check that once it's tomorrow during the day. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up for now, but there's a couple things I wanted to point out that I think I didn't mention in any of the other videos yet. For one, this linkage here that goes to the kickdown cable, mine was, because it was loose, it had rattled and kind of buggered up the threads a little bit. So I added an additional nut to the outside there, and the thread on that is 1/4 28. So it's fine thread 1/4. The bolt going through the kickdown cable bracket into the other bracket there, that was a 1/4 20 by 1.5 inches. And if I could have gone a little bit longer and then doubled up on nuts, I probably would have, but it's fine, just like that. Yeah, other than that, I did have, and I saw it mentioned in one of the forums somewhere else, this return spring was rubbing against that fuel line. Mine wasn't really that bad, just a little rub on it, but I went ahead and put a piece of fuel tubing around that fuel line and held it in place with a couple of zip ties while I was in here working on this. So other than that, I think we're just gonna try it out how it is for a little bit, and then yeah, I hope that return is a little better while it's running, because it just kind of hangs there a little bit. It does reach the floor, or the low throttle point, but it hangs just a little bit. I think it'll be better when it's running and there's some vibration in there. yeah, so I'll use this way hopefully for a little while. I do have the components for an air throttle, and I don't have an AC compressor anymore. So I'm sure I can rig something up to get the air throttle to work. I just need to do a little more research on cruise control options to go with that, and if I can adapt what I have to work with it or not. All right, thanks. Here's the real solution to my throttle linkage problem. The previous owner was good enough to, or one of the previous owners, not the last one, but I think the one before that, picked up these components to do a conversion to an air throttle. I would just need to figure out how to get the cruise control to work, or what cruise control I would need to use in combination with this. And it looks like some brackets will need to be fabricated up, but this is going to have to happen soon.